children are dead and one man is in custody.
At this time, the deaths are considered suspicious.
Homicide detectives are now investigating. Plus, a leaked list.
There is a concern that your organization is in possession of and using the list of electors.
A separatist group has been ordered to take down a voter database from their website. And the Bay building renovations.
It's stunning. There's nothing else like it.
What the historic building will be converted into.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Jacqueline Wilson.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. 2 children are dead and 1 man is in custody following a disturbing discovery along 14th Street Northwest in Calgary. Police say that their bodies were found inside of a late model Jeep pulled over along the side of the road. Kevin Green has more.
Police say they were called just after 10 a.m. Thursday to the 4300 block of 14th Street Northwest, a location just meters from the District 3 police station.
Once we arrived, we located a vehicle. A search of that vehicle has located 2 deceased children.
Police have not said how the 2 children died.
At this time, the deaths are considered suspicious. Our homicide unit is investigating. Our medical examiner is on scene, who will begin the investigation into the deaths themselves. They will be the ones that would ultimately determine the cause of death.
And they say they have not yet identified the children either.
I don't know the sex of the victims. I can tell you they're both believed to be under the ages of 10.
Investigators say 1 man is now in custody, but can't say how or if he is related to the children.
At this point, that's still too early in the investigation. We still need to identify who the children are. And at that point, we can then start to look at who their parents are, who is responsible, and what actually happened here.
Residents along 14th Street were kept in their homes as the investigation unfolded outside their front windows. Several say the vehicle in question is not familiar to the neighborhood, and one told us it was not parked at the scene as late as 8 o'clock Thursday morning.
Yeah, it's not something you ever think you're going to experience. I can't imagine how the cops are feeling right now. Probably absolutely beside themselves. Because it was right in front of their station. Just absolutely devastating.
Emergency responders were seen leaving the scene in tears, overwhelmed by what they had encountered.
It is very hard on our officers. Our officers are human, and this is heartbreaking for everyone.
Police are working to determine just who the children are and how they might be related to the man who was taken into custody here on Thursday. On Thursday afternoon, just after noon, children's bodies were taken to the medical examiner's office and the vehicle was taken for forensic examination. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
A body was pulled from the Bow River this evening. Police were notified that there might have been a body in the river, and the fire department aquatic team made the discovery about at around 130th Avenue in Douglasdale. The medical examiner will confirm an identity and determine a cause of death. Police say an investigation is ongoing. And police are investigating a serious workplace incident in southeast Calgary. It happened in a shopyard in the Foothills Industrial area in the 7700 block of 44th Street just after 2:30 this afternoon. Police say the incident involved a forklift where dislodged pipes fell on a man in his 50s. The investigation into the circumstances continues. And police have laid charges after forged documents were used to make purchases worth thousands of dollars. Here are some of the items that police recovered during their 4-month investigation. Officers say that thieves stole driver's licenses, birth certificates, and social insurance numbers. Fake documents were then used to purchase snowmobiles, off-road vehicles, and a rental property in Calgary. 3 Calgarians in their 20s have been charged. And Calgary police need help identifying 2 suspects following an arson in the Northeast. It happened on April 19th in the 6000 block of Saddlehorn Drive. Police say 2 people walked up to a car parked in a driveway. They set it on fire and then they ran towards a nearby school. Well, police also need help finding a missing Calgary senior. 90-year-old Christina was last seen in Riverbend late yesterday afternoon. Police say that she has a medical condition and her family and police are concerned for her well-being. Christina is 5'7" with a slim build, short gray hair, and she wears glasses. Call police or Crime Stoppers if you spot her. Elections Alberta says that a separatist group has illegally obtained a list of Alberta voters and their personal information. An emergency court injunction and cease and desist order have been filed to block the group from further using or accessing the data. But as Tim Brook reports, some of the damage has already been done.
Alberta's newest separatist group is called the Centurion Project. It's led by a familiar face, David Parker, who is the former head of Take Back Alberta. The group says it's focused on bringing in new voters and that a new tool will help it do exactly that.
Well, this is just publicly available data of everyone in the province that is an elector.
Oh, so data from Elections Alberta type of thing, right?
Yeah.
We have 3 million voting age Albertans in the database. Become a user of the Centurion Project app, claim your friends and family, and then take responsibility for them.
But at a Centurion Project meeting Wednesday night, Elections Alberta served notice.
There is a concern that your organization is in possession of and using the list of electors.
Elections Alberta accuses the separatist group of illegally accessing and then using Alberta's list of electors. That's the list given to every political party and MLA. It contains about 2.9 million voters' first, middle, and last names, their address, postal code, phone number, unique electoral identifier number, electoral division, and their voting area. It's a lot of information, but this can be traced back to one source.
If multiple people are given the exact same data set, they're actually purposely slightly different. So if there is a breach, they're able to trace it right back to the source. So that's exactly what seems to have happened here.
Elections Alberta says the Republican Party of Alberta legitimately received a list, but its list illegitimately ended up in the hands of the Centurion Project. Some voters are uncomfortable with that.
I do feel like the list has been available. And then that brings us to the next question as to how did they obtain that list, who gave it to them, and why was it even given it to them?
Accessing that list of electors is an offense, and we'll be pursuing that. So there will be an investigation.
An emergency court injunction has been granted to prohibit any further access to or use of the list, but it's already been spread. And now the province has to figure out how it happens. Tim Brook, CTV News, Calgary.
The Centurion Project told CTV it relied on a third party to get its data and that it will fully comply with Elections Alberta's investigation. As for the Republican Party of Alberta, the leader says he is investigating what happened. Anyone found guilty of illegal passing along that electors list could face a penalty of up to $10,000, a year in prison, or both. Well, Donald Trump has given the go-ahead for a new pipeline to move Alberta crude oil from Canada to the U.S. The U.S. president has approved the proposed Bridger pipeline from Canada to Wyoming. Alberta's premier says it will initially deliver more than 500,000 barrels of oil per day, with the capacity for over 1 million barrels. Calgary-based South Bow is involved in the project. It will take a different route than the Keystone XL pipeline, but would use some of the previously built pipe on the Canadian side. The pipeline would increase Canada's crude exports to the U.S. by more than 12%. Well, hot and dry weather has created some ideal conditions for grass fires, including one burning west of the city. It sparked near Ghost Lake, and multiple fire departments responded to get it under control. Footage from one onlooker shows planes and helicopters attacking the fire from the sky. Rockview County has issued a fire advisory, warning of a moderate fire risk and asking people to stay vigilant.
We just saw this giant column of smoke over the ridge, and we decided to come check it out. We came down the road and we saw about 6 columns of smoke, and we thought it was something big, so we just stayed along.
A secondary brush fire started close by south of Highway 1, just east of 22X. According to Alberta Wildfire, the fire danger rating is between high and very high outside of Calgary right now. There are 5 wildfires considered active right now in our province. obviously a warm and dry day out there, Gina.
Yeah.
I guess the big saving grace for all these fires, not a lot of wind.
Yes, it was one of those situations where it was dry, but those winds can really enhance that situation. So we were lucky today that winds were quite calm, though they were variable. That's not a good situation when it comes to battling any type of wildfire, because it can switch up the direction. Tomorrow, we're not expecting very strong winds either, but it will be clear and warm out there. Clouds will start to build throughout the afternoon, Jackie. So later in the day, we might see the occasional shower here and there. But overall, it's looking like a very warm, above seasonal start to the new month.
Thank you so much, Gina. Well, the historic Hudson Bay building in downtown Calgary is set to get a makeover. As Moses Woldu reports, the move is being met with positive reactions and some concerns.
One of Calgary's iconic buildings will receive some new life. A report says the Hudson's Bay building on Stephen Avenue will be converted to condos. Astra Real Estate Corporation has a track record in Calgary converting Calgary downtown office buildings to residential units.
Less vacancy is more people, more vibrant, and yeah. So hopefully the new building is going to be filled with a lot of people.
I was actually thinking this would be cool if it was a condo building. So yeah, I think it'd be cool.
It creates some livable space right in the core and might be a nice change to what we have down here.
It's welcome news to Heritage Calgary, who hopes the characteristics of the building will remain and that it will be a mixed-use space. They provided a statement to CTV saying in part, to legally protect the building, the owner would have to nominate the property for municipal or provincial heritage designation, and that tax abatements, grants, and adaptive reuse support creates a practical framework that both safeguards the building's heritage value and supports its ongoing economic viability.
It is a wow building. It's stunning. There's nothing else like it.
One condo expert says the market for a property like this will attract people, but with one caveat.
If you can do something that offers a unique aspect and it's priced affordably, that's kind of the winning combination.
One housing advocate in our city wants some of the units in the core to become more affordable.
At least 50% of that building must be affordable houses for people who cannot afford high rents in Calgary.
An attractive site that could breathe new life into the area.
When you get into the inside of a commercial space, you will have these super tall soaring ceiling heights, and that will add another unique sale point.
Moses Woldu, CTV News, Calgary.
Today is the deadline for most Canadians to file their taxes. Filing on time means avoiding penalties and delays if receiving benefits. The CRA charges a late filing penalty of 5% of your balance owing, plus an additional 1% for each full month your return is late. The filing deadline for those who are self-employed is June 15th. Well, one city councillor is tabling a handful of motions to roll back several policies that he calls performative, but they aren't being received well by everyone. We'll have details next.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Construction has begun on an affordable housing project at the former site of the Midfield Heights Mobile Park. The 24-acre, $61 million development is in partnership with Calgary Housing and Rohit Homes. The province and city are also funding half the project. The affordable housing portion will consist of 176 units from studio to 3-bedroom homes. The other parts of the development include retail, office space, and more residential units.
Today is about more than breaking ground. It is about keeping a promise that Calgary has been making for decades. This is a city that must remain a place where people of all incomes can build stable lives.
In 2018, the city shut down the Midfield Mobile Home Park, evicting residents after a long and contentious battle over failing infrastructure. A Calgary City Councillor is taking aim at City Hall policies that he calls performative. Landon Johnston wants to get rid of a plastic water bottle ban in chambers and rescind the city's climate emergency, but political watchers say it can distract from other important city issues. Jordan Canigan reports.
Among a handful of motions set to go to a committee next week is a battle over plastic water bottles.
It was a performative measure by a performative councillor at the time to reduce where the cameras point on what plastic bottles look like in front of cameras.
A 2019 policy discontinued single-use water bottles in council chambers in an effort to reduce waste and promote the city's tap water. The so-called performative councillor who introduced it 7 years ago was Jeremy Farkas.
We have the best product in the entire city. The water that we produce is clean. It tastes amazing.
Councillor Johnston also wants the city to get rid of a statement acknowledging the city's commitment to anti-racism and diversity, equity, and inclusion. He also wants to rescind the climate emergency declaration.
Again, it was performative, and actually by the administration's own terminology, it's a symbolic declaration. It didn't provide us any extra funding. It didn't put us on the world stage.
But these types of discussions can slow down city meetings and take time away from other issues.
I think it's a bit ironic because these kinds of motions call attention to things that are not particularly important.
Farkas was once the councillor bringing forth similar motions, some that received no support at all. Now he's the one in the mayor's chair.
I would think it would be a good lesson, one learned apparently by Jeremy Farkas that could be learned by others as well, that what voters want is for their elected representatives to focus on the problems, the real issues.
The mayor calling on council to stay focused on the big issues.
We should not be spending our time on bringing in fancy water bottle service for city councillors.
Jordan Cadigan, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, the motions are set to be discussed at Tuesday's executive committee. If passed, there would still need to go to further council meetings for a full debate. Calgary's airport is weighing in on the discussion about privatizing airports in Canada. The federal government hinted at the idea during the spring economic update, saying that privatization could be one step to unlocking the full potential of Canada's airports. Transport Minister Stephen McKinnon says that they would look at each airport separately. Speaking at its annual general meeting, the Calgary Airport Authority says it's open to discussing privatization if it ensures safety, security, and affordability for passengers.
We serve our community. And if there's a structure that is good for our community, of course it's got our support. And I think it's our responsibility to come to the table and have the conversation.
Meantime, Dinsdale says that the rest of the centralized passenger security screening should open by the end of this year. Well, Porter Airlines is adding several new international destinations from Alberta. From Calgary, Porter will fly to Phoenix. That service begins December 20th and will be daily. And from Edmonton, Porter will fly to Puerto Vallarta, Los Cabos, Las Vegas, and Phoenix. The carrier says it will operate nearly 5,000 flights to sun destinations from Canada for the upcoming winter season. All right, well, Gina is along next with her Skywatch weather forecast. It's going to be sunny. Stay with us.
Well, as April comes to a close, we are wrapping up this month with really nice temperatures and an abundance of sunshine. It was quite a volatile month, so it's nice to finally see the nice side of spring show up to Alberta. Look at the temperatures for today. We hit a high of 20 degrees in the city here, Edmonton up to 22, and we're in good company here in the west. Many places in BC also benefiting from a ridge of high pressure that has moved in over the provinces here. So when we look at tomorrow, we're really going to see once again another day of above seasonal temperatures. 23 for Calgary tomorrow, and 25 if you're joining us in Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, or Brooks. Basically, I am just trying to tell you in multiple ways how good it's going to be heading into May here. A very quiet radar satellite because of that high pressure that we're seeing over the city right now. And it's because the ridge is so high. Usually when we hear about these ridges, they're a little lower and it gets quite breezy out there, but we're nestled right in the thick of it. So we're really protected. A lot of sinking air, a lot of stability. Tomorrow we'll see a little bit more cloud move into the region a little later in the evening. A bit of a wavy pattern with this ridge that allows some late day precipitation to happen on Friday and into Saturday morning. But Sunday we bounce right back into settled conditions. By the time Monday comes around, we get this abrupt turn where we have this big cold air mass to the east of us, this warm air mass to the west, and the jet stream has aligned itself like right along the AB-SK border there. And when that happens, when you get those convergence of air masses, you just get a lot of cloud usually, and it drives down the temperatures a little bit. So that's what we're preparing for on Monday there. But overall, the picture looks really nice. We have 3 days here of temperatures in the low 20s in many areas or the high teens with a lot of sunshine, some on and off clouds. Again, maybe a little bit of instability closer to the foothills there in the Pincher Creek area for Saturday. But considering what we've been dealing with in April, the first 5 days in May are looking really nice. Enjoy the above seasonal temperatures and be outside. Just be sun smart and fire smart.
Okay, thanks so much, Gina. Well, the University of Calgary has named John Osler as Chancellor-elect.
I'm so very honored to have been appointed to this role. I'm very excited about it. It's a big role, and I hope I can do justice to all of the terrific chancellors who have come before me.
Osler is the former campaign chair of Own Cancer and a longtime corporate lawyer. He will now serve as an ambassador of the university and has the power to grant degrees. Osler will replace John Cornish, who has served in the role for 4 years. His first day is on July 1st. Well, the Calgary Women's Emergency Shelter, part of Fear Is Not Love, hosted the Turning Point Gala tonight at the BMO Centre. The fundraising event honors the strength of individuals and families impacted by domestic violence and abuse in our community. Each year, the organization supports approximately 20,000 people.
Domestic violence and abuse is a public safety issue in our community, and it happens every day behind closed doors, and it is also spilling into our streets and our communities. And we're really looking to raise the awareness of how people can be great social supporters and how do we turn the needle in the other direction on this issue as a community.
For more information about their programs or to donate, head to fearsnotlove.ca. Well, more Stampede entertainment announcements are out. Up next, we'll tell you the concert lineup for the Big Four Roadhouse. Welcome back. The Big Four Roadhouse has announced its concert lineup for the Calgary Stampede. Well, from rock to country, featuring Canadian and international artists, the Big Four will host Colin James, Everlast, Glass Tiger, Johnny Reid, Tanya Tucker, Terry Clark, and many others. Barbecue, food, bars, and a mechanical bull, they'll also be at the venue. All concerts at the Big Four Roadhouse stages are free with admission to Stampede Park from July 2nd to the 12th. All ages are welcome during the day, and it is adults only, though, after 6 p.m. Sounds like a lot of fun. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful night.